Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about a question that I frequently am asked by usually young men between the ages of 18, actually usually between 17 and 20 years old. Okay, and the question that I'm asked is, should I go into the military? Okay, what do I think? And as a firearms instructor, a lot of times they'll come to me because they're looking to, kind of get their feet a little bit wet with guns. And my answer to them is that, you got to understand why you're going into the military, okay? If you're going into the military, you're not going into the military to play with guns, okay? You're going into the military to do service, okay? So if your goal is just to play with guns, then by all means come to somebody like me and I'll let you play with guns, okay? If your goal is to do service, okay, and what that basically means is that's basically like signing a blank check and giving it to the government, okay? That's basically the equivalent of saying, here's a paycheck. Take as much money as you want out of my paycheck. Okay? That's what service. That's what it means when you sign up for military service. You are willing to give up everything. And I do have a lot of respect for military people. I've trained with them. I've worked with them. A lot of times I'll have ex-military guys that'll come to me and they're looking, let's say, for some type of certificate. Maybe they're trying to get a carry permit and they need to, and they still need some type of gun safety certificate. And a lot of times I'll barter with them. Basically, I'll say, yeah, listen, I don't want your money. You're going to basically provide me with some of your training, and in return, I'll give you a safety course, which is required by your state. And that'll help you get your carrying permit. Okay, so that's basically where I get all my training from. I'm getting it from ex-military guys. So the point here is that there's other ways to get training if that's all that you're interested in. Besides going into the military, you can always pay somebody to give you that training. Okay, people pay me to give it to them. If I wanted to learn to fly airplanes, okay, I'm not gonna just go out and buy airplanes and learn to fly them just by crashing them and trying to figure it out as I go along. I'm going to find a pilot, okay, or go to a pilot school, and I'm going to pay somebody to teach me how to fly airplanes. Okay, so that's how I learn things. So going back to the original issue now, you're somewhere between 17 and 20 years old, and basically you're asking me what I think of military service. And assuming that you have the correct answer, which is you want to serve your country, okay? Not that you want to play with guns, but you want to serve your country, okay? Because that's the only correct answer if you're looking to do military service. If you give me the correct answer, what I will do is I will recommend that you wait until you are 21 years old, okay? And the reason why I will recommend that is because society, for the most part, has determined that you as an 18-year-old, okay, are not responsible enough to own guns and buy guns and own guns, or responsible enough to drink. Okay, so basically they've denied you some of your rights as a citizen. Okay, I see that as an insult. And I'm a 47-year-old man, and I saw that as an insult when I was 18 years old, and I still see that as an insult. Okay, that they would use 18-year-olds, okay, that they'll use their bodies, okay, to, in order to protect the asses of these old men and women, but at the same time, they won't trust these kids to own guns or drink alcohol. So I see that as completely unfair, and for that reason, I recommend to anybody less than 21 years old to wait until they're 21 years old, and at that time, make the fair trade if that's what you want to do. Okay, now. Beyond that, what I will usually tell people is, if you're interested in a life in the military, okay, I recommend you go to officer school, okay, because in the modern U.S. military, you don't go from, there's no way to really advance into the upper ranks unless you go to officer school, okay. So you're not gonna go in as a private and work your way up the ranks to eventually become some type of high-level officer. Okay, you pretty much go in as a grunt. You might be able to advance a couple of ranks from there, but pretty much you're going to stay at the low levels. Okay, if you're interested in a career in the military, you have to go to officer school. Okay, and that's where all the modern-day colonels and generals and majors, they've all gone to officer school to get to where they are. And when they came out of officer school, they didn't go into the Army or the Navy as, at the low levels. They went in as an officer. So yeah, if your goal is that you want to be a career military person, I definitely advise you go to officer school first, okay? And then from there, go into the military. Now you might say that, hey, listen, my goal is, I want to get training. Well, by all means, hire somebody to give you training if that's what you're interested in. If you're interested in training, go pay somebody to give you training. You don't have to go into the military. Again, if you're going into the military, you are going there for service, okay? Now, another situation that I see quite often is I have a lot of young guys, and they're like, well, I want to go into the military because, I don't have too many job options. And basically I can't get a job, and I'm working McDonald's or Burger King, and I want to do something better than that. Or I'm in the mailroom, okay, and I want to, I'm doing, basically I'm doing filing for some company, and I really can't get forward from that. Okay, now I want you guys to understand my experience as basically as a chief financial officer. Because basically I'm an accountant, okay. Over the years, I've worked for a lot of different companies. I've owned my own companies, okay? And I'm going to give you guys a true story that has actually come up many times, several times over the last, 30 years that I've been doing this, okay? Which is basically owning and, in some cases running companies for other people, okay? A typical situation that I have, okay, is that somebody will come to me and they will say to me, hey, listen, I'm giving you 2 weeks notice because I'm quitting my job. I'm going into the military. Okay. And I'll be like, hey, congratulations. That's not in that position, right? It's not my place to, give any advice. Basically I say, thank you very much for letting me know. I really wish you the best of luck. Okay. And basically, it's usually a very good person, and I'm glad that they at that point that they've decided what to do with themselves. So these guys are going into the military. So now I gotta fill that position, okay? So I put out an ad. Usually these days it's usually all on Craigslist or for these lower level positions. So I put this ad because I'm trying to fill the filing position or the data entry position or whatever, And I start getting all these resumes in, and I start interviewing people, and a lot of these guys are basically coming out of the military, okay? And basically, I've got guys that have done service in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is back in the early years, back in 2010, okay, 2012. I was interviewing a lot of guys, okay, for these entry-level positions that had just come out of military service. And basically, it's almost like a revolving door. I got guys leaving these positions because they're going into the military because they think they're going to get a better job. And then I got guys coming out of the military trying to fill those same positions. Okay? So that's reality. Okay, this is from a guy that does the hiring. Okay, I've seen all the resumes. I've done thousands of interviews in my life. Okay, so going into the military as an enlisted man, is you gotta know why you're going there. You're going in there to do service. You're really not going in there for for career advancement. Okay, and a lot of times I'll get and this is usually when I'm training people. I'll be training somebody or somebody's training me, and I'll have guys that just came out of the military, and they're looking to get a job in law enforcement. Okay, and basically, they thought that because they had that military experience, it was going to be easy for them to get, jobs in law enforcement. Well, there's two issues for that. Number one, over the last, 18 years, we've generated about 20 million veterans, okay, that all have military experience, and they're all looking for those law enforcement jobs, okay? So that's the one issue. And the other issue is that a lot of, police and government agencies will not consider hiring somebody that's had combat experience until a certain amount of time has passed. In some cases, I've heard 5 years, where basically, at that point they can be sure that this person doesn't have any, post-combat stress disorders. Nothing of that nature has come up. Okay, so a lot of agencies will postpone hiring ex-military people, for that reason. Okay, so that's another thing to just be aware of. Okay, and again, all that said, I want you guys to know that I have a lot of respect for our military. Okay, and like I said, I've trained with them and I've worked with them. I've done classes in some cases with them. But at the same time, know why you're going into the military. And if you're under 21 years old, please wait until you are 21 years old to decide if that's what you want to do and if that's really the best choice. And please talk to a lot of veterans. Okay, there's 20 million veterans that have come back. Okay, talk to them. Okay, see what they think. Ask them if they would do it again. Ask them if they would want their children to follow that same route. Okay, that's going to probably give you the best feedback if you ask them if they would have their children, their sons, their daughters, go that same route. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time.